I want to talk about this because I found this story online and I got told about it by Hubby and by other people, and it made me fucking furious. This is not a news story or anything. I've seen this situation happen a lot with other content creators, especially like VTubers or people that getting scammed or having projects fall through on like a deadline. And this like has to do with commissions, right? And as an artist, it's something that I find deeply upsetting, and I genuinely want to talk about this because I think that, like, I need to explain to you guys why stuff like this is harmful to the industry, not just for the consumer, but for other artists themselves. I've actually have not seen the post myself up till now, but I've had people tell me about it. And apparently, let me kind of like briefly explain if you guys don't know what commissions are. It's basically when you hire a professional, usually an artist, to make something for you. Now, this something could range from being a piece of artwork to emotes, a VTuber model, even cosplay. And in this case in particular, we are going to be talking about a cosplay. So if you guys don't know, Final Fantasy XIV has a convention every 2 years, which is ludicrously fucking difficult to get into, but that's a subject for another day. And if you manage to snag a ticket, they have them in different parts of the world. Now, Fanfest in the States is usually in Vegas, and here in Europe, it's going to be in Germany. And we are talking today about someone who wanted to get a costume made for Fanfest. Now, the thing with commissioning stuff like costumes is you have to do that shit way in advance. You have a deadline, a hard deadline. And if you are someone who takes commissions and who makes costumes, deadlines like this are do or fucking die, okay? If someone tells you, I need this made by this date, you fucking deliver, mama. The reason this makes me mad is because, like I've said, I've seen it with other stuff like VTubers as well, who have to push back debuts because the artist that they commissioned to make or rig their model did not fucking finish on time. So let's get into like the actual story first, before we talk about the details. Let's read through this, okay? I present to thee Exhibit A. We're gonna read through this, bear with me. I'll be honest, I don't even know how to start this post, as it's certainly not important in the grand scheme of things. But it's also something I'm so extremely upset about that at the moment it feels infuriating to the point of needing both to vent and apologize to those that I hyped up. This coming Friday is the Final Fantasy XIV Fanfest. And for months now, I've been hyping up a ridiculous cosplay I was going to go as. I even signed up, agreed to, and planned to be in the cosplay walk. It's been something I've talked about on streams for months and months. My excitement was very high. You know me and the silly cosplays I do from time to time. I always try to make something fun. Well, for this go around, I convinced Twiggy, who looks exactly like Halmarut, to do a cosplay as her for Fanfest, and I would be the plushy Calyx. We planned, met with costume people, we had fittings, etc, etc. I cannot even stress the amount of screenshots we took of every angle. So back in January, I found what appeared to be a skilled costume / fursuit maker to help me. So you already know that this was not gonna be cheap. I was told it's expensive to make these things, but you know me. 1, I'm grateful my job allows me to do stuff like this, and 2, I'd rather spend money on something fun that would make people happy than just buy something for myself. I've always been like that. After paying a pretty hefty sum up front for the skills and time to get started, I was sent initial renderings and work-in-progress shots. After seeing them, my excitement knew no bounds. I was showing these off to everyone on stream. Honestly, anybody who would look. Let's see these screenshots. This is what the costume looks like in-game, okay? It's a silly little fursuit. It's not even a fursuit, it's a mascot costume. This is actually something that they wanted to have made for Fanfest. A lot of people who go to Fanfest go in cosplay. Some people do their Warriors of Light, other people do game characters. Point is, it's always like a very extravagant time, especially if it's in Vegas. All right, so this is the costume they wanted. Let's keep it going. And they got sent this image of basically the assembly for the head. Now, I'm not gonna get super into this because there were actually some allegations that these images were AI generated, but I don't know if that's true or not. So let's assume that they're real. But if I got this as a progress shot for a fursuit, I would have been delighted. Because it's like, oh shit, it's actually going to happen. Isn't that cute? That's adorable. Why does that look fake? We'll get to that. Apparently, a lot of people, now, hindsight 2020, because like, make no mistake, I am by no means going to give shit to the LP for this. Because even though this looks blatantly fake to us right now, to them, this was very, very much real. Okay, so they got sent this, and I would have been stoked to receive this. So excited that I would not have checked the image closely, which is probably what happened. Also, it's not an instinct thing to someone when you commission someone to immediately be like, oh, I'm gonna check for AI. Normally, you just get excited to receive a thing that you paid for. So this was one of the progress shots that they got. Looks fucking dope, right? Great shit. Okay. I was giddy with how silly this would turn out. In my head, I was already imagining the fun I could have at Fanfest, just being a sassy, depressed squirrel guy. This, however, is the last time I was happy with this project. Soon after, communication broke down, and this is when things fell apart. To be fair, I have since been told the creator's father passed, but it might have been nice to know this months ago so I could have found alternatives. I agree. I'm going to get into that bit later myself. Instead, I was dragged along under the idea that everything was being worked on, but I had no evidence of such. I pestered, I bugged, and it wasn't until the 6th of this month that I got my first real images of the costume. And it was the tail. Not the body, not the head, the tail. And the tail was wrong. It's not a squirrel tail. It looks nothing like the character's tail. Let's see it. Ooh. Yeah, that's not a squirrel tail. That is a deformed nubbin at best. This is what the tail actually should look like, you know? So that's wrong already. And in fact, I would say I see the liquefy tool. I see the deformity that they basically grabbed the tail and moved it to make it look like it actually had fucking wiring in it. It's probably not even curved at all, okay? So that's already pretty yikesy. Let's keep reading. I responded, saying it was wrong, and it should be fixed. I was confused as to how it was possible to even make that tail because I sent a complete mock-up of the character. I was sent a complete mock-up of the character. Now, with less than a month out, I was starting to get worried that at best, I was going to be waiting till the last minute, and at worst, I was being conned. I messaged repeatedly about how we were running out of time and I needed the costume. It's been months, and it wasn't until yesterday that I received some pics. They were not, to put it nicely, acceptable. Oh boy, I'm afraid for this person, I really am. Oh no. Oh, what happened? What happened? If I had received, first of all, that is entirely the wrong color. The facial structure is completely different. This genuinely feels like you bought a generic fursuit and tried to play these off as your own work. Dude, this feels pre-made. If I had been trying to calm a fursuit like this and I got these pictures, I would have blown a gasket immediately. This is terrible. Okay, that's the head. Body, not great. I don't even think that would fit them properly. That's very shapeless. Like my sock that I wear around my office in the mornings when it gets chilly looks nicer than this. And then the clothes for the character, which I guess those are ish okay, but not great. And then the tail was completely wrong. Completely. Like, the shape is wrong, the width is wrong, but everything about this is wrong. If I would have gotten this instead of what I paid for of the mock-up I was sent, I would have been fucking angry. It's no longer a squirrel, mama, okay? It's just really bad. So yeah, let's see what they said to those pictures. The head is wrong. The tail is still not fixed. The jacket is barely acceptable, and the body is just a furry body. There are no puffy ankles or wrists. I was livid. I could not believe I could possibly look so completely different from the rendering I was sent, let alone the head that was already being made. It made no sense. I was told that the reason for the change was that I would not be able to see with the half-closed eyes.
Bullshit.
Skill issue. Genuinely skill issue. A skilled fursuit maker would have fucking found a way around that problem. But then why send me the renders for the initial head assembly? I was like, you had months to work on this. I paid you for the materials and the time and the labor, and this is bad. I was told they'd work all night to get it fixed. Today I was told at 5 p.m. that there was no way it would be done for Monday, and that I could have the costume after the event, given the changes I wanted, which is unacceptable. It was literally for this event only. That was it. I asked for a refund and was told that they didn't have the money. Essentially, I am out of money, I am out of time and energy, and I am out of a costume which I promised the community and I would show up as. Also, I'm ashamed I let Twiggy down, who has a wonderful costume ready to go. Except now, she doesn't have a Calyx plushie, which is part of the whole vibe of the character. So it goes without saying that I am bummed beyond belief, and I cannot express how truly angry I am at the entire situation. I feel scammed. You were scammed. I feel like I should have shut up and not promised anything cool. No, I don't blame you for that. Instead, I'm having to post this to try and explain why I'll just be walking around as myself at Fanfest. What a letdown. And that was the full post. Okay, so I have a lot of thoughts about this, personally, as an artist myself. First of all, OP, none of this is your fault. I I don't think that you should be keep mum about things you're excited about because the fucking person you work with is a giant scammer, okay? This was a scam. They did get sent like full mock-ups of the character and shit, and it's very, very clear to me that even if that image was not AI, it was very clearly a composite, okay? You were scammed. This person did not have the skill or knowledge to do this. This is a completely different render and shape. Because here's the thing, once you have a fursuit mask at that stage, the main thing that needs to happen is you have to make the eye holes, right? And line it with fur. If the head was structurally made like this, then the head you received at the end makes no sense looking the way that it does. So this is a fake composite. This is very, very likely either made with AI or a very bang-up Photoshop job, okay? Because that head is casting no shadow on that laptop. None, okay? And that's already a problem. But anybody who like blames the OP for this, have a little bit of sympathy. Most people, when they're getting a comm, they're not expecting this level of fucking dipshittery, okay? This is like the bootleg piñatas that you can find in like every other corner in Mexico City if you go into like a little town. So it goes without saying that this level of unprofessionalism is unacceptable. This person's anger is completely justified. I don't know if they exposed the username of the artist, but I think they should. Because here's the thing, this actually really, really harms the artist ecosystem. Let me explain why. When back in the day, when people used to commission artists, they would get the work that they paid for, no problem, right? Nowadays, though, people who want to get work for commissions don't trust artists at all. The only way an artist is going to be trusted to do their job is if they come recommended from other people. That makes it near impossible for new creators, new cosplayers, new fursuit makers, new wig stylists to get an in on the industry if they don't have connections. Especially if you have a small following, people will see that you're doing comms and immediately assume it's a scam. You guys have to understand how hurtful this is to hear from me because I got my start as one of those small artists. I got my start with the Final Fantasy XIV community. I got my start by amazing warriors of light that saw that even though I didn't have a ton of followings, gave me a chance. I didn't have connections. I didn't have people vouching for me, not at first. Amazing people took a chance with me and I delivered on the work that they asked me for. But now this is stories like this and they come out a dime a dozen. It's going to make it so hard for smaller artists to get their foot in the door. If you add AI on top of it all, which is being used very often to scam people, then yeah, you've hit the trifecta. This is incredibly harmful to the industry. And this artist did not have the skill level to make this costume. And instead of saying, I can't do this is too high level for me, they took the money and ran with it. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. The OP mentions that they since found out that the costume maker's father had passed. I want to try and treat this delicately, but there is no nice way to say this. That excuse is unacceptable to give to a client. Why is it unacceptable to give to a client? Like, before you think, oh wow, Lily's psychotic. Even if it's true, if it happens to be true that their parent died. Let me tell you why this excuse is unacceptable, okay? Well, reasoning. It is unacceptable because you're immediately putting an emotional burden on your client. Because your client will have no way to complain to you since your family member has passed, or not, they have no way to know that. If they say something, if they complain, if they ask for a refund, they look like an asshole. As a professional artist, you should never, ever play to the emotional of that. True or not, it's manipulative. Yeah, you should never manipulate clients like that. If, God forbid, knock on wood, my dad dies tomorrow, and I cannot finish a kinky feek that I promised, I would not tell you guys, hey, my dad died. I would tell you, guys, something came up. The comic is going to be a bit late. I am sorry. I cannot give you guys more details right now. Because that's just the professional thing to do. Toying with people's emotions like that is unacceptable as a content creator and as a commissioner. The amount of unprofessionalism I have seen in this space of artists and other content creators that do commissions, it's mind-boggling. And it genuinely makes me so upset because the only thing you guys are doing by emotionally fucking manipulating people and not delivering on work is making it much harder for the actual honest-to-goodness talented individuals that want to get their foot in the door, making it impossible for them to actually be able to do anything. It's something that I can talk about for ages, but the main thing that gets me is that artists use emotional arguments like this against their client. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. The thing that does matter is that you are basically handing your client a basically get out of jail free card. You cannot complain at me for anything, you know? And that's not fair to a customer. That is not at all fair to anybody that wants to get work from you. because then they will feel even remotely guilty if they want to get, you know, the thing that they paid for or their money back. Another thing that this artist did, cardinal fucking sin of commissioner, is they spent the fucking money before the product was done. Now, charging up front is a very smart move for artists to do when they do commissions. I used to do it, but I would never charge until I at least had a sketch to send. And then I would not take a cent of that money out of my PayPal until the commission was delivered and accepted by the client. Because that's just the smart thing to do. If something comes up, if communication falls apart, if you have an emergency and you can't finish the work, and your client asks you for a refund, you can deliver it. When you don't give the refund, when you tell them, oh, I don't have the money anymore, the only thing that's telling me is that you had no intention of finishing this work at all. It's almost always an excuse to get away with not working on it if something comes up after they ask for a refund, you know? Like, it's weird. That's very smart. Yeah, no, so like what happened here makes me irate because this poor person had a deadline. That's another thing that makes me so fucking mad. When you are doing comms on a deadline, chat, I don't care how you do it. I don't give a rat's ass if you have to like pull 5 all-nighters. You will finish that fucking piece on a deadline. Whenever I had someone, when I used to do comms, tell me, hey, I need this piece for this day because it was for someone's birthday, I would stay up late to do it. I would literally be like, okay, you got it. And I would put aside every other comm I had to finish the one that had a deadline. Deadlines and respecting deadline is like the most... Oh wait, this was for Jesse. I didn't even see the username. Now I feel double bad. Oh, Jesse, no, I'm so sorry. I'm so mad. Jesse's like a giant 14 nerd. Side note, I'm so mad on your behalf, Jesse. And if a big name like Jesse is making a story like this, is making a stink like this, yeah, it's fucking over for the newbie artists that want to do comms like this. It's so fucking over. You had a chance to work with Jesse Cox and all people, and you biffed it. Yeah, Jesse's just an overall nice guy. He's really nice, and he's also one of, like, the biggest fucking voices for Final Fantasy XIV out there. He loves the game. He's had a chance to review stuff for new patches and new expansions before it comes out. So, yeah, this is bad. If a content creator as big as Jesse Cox is addressing a problem like this, and talking about it, and feeling bad about it, what the fuck do you think a normal person without a gigantic following is going to think? They're going to think, oh wow, I can't trust any artist unless they come from a reputable source, because otherwise, well, mama, I'm not gonna get my work. Wait, it was Jesse fucking Cox? Yep. No wonder he was so upset. He has a massive audience, and he wanted to fucking do this for them. He hyped his community. That's like if I'm telling you guys that I'm gonna show up to a convention dressed as Lilligoth, and then my costume doesn't get delivered, and I have to tell you guys, oh, I'm going as myself, I'm so sorry. You guys would also be pretty upset too, I bet. They wanted to see Jesse, and this Jesse wanted to do this cute, silly thing for his community, and he can't. And that's the problem, because now most people are going to think twice about before calming someone that they have no frame of reference for. You are going to need to start really networking as a content creator, as an artist, if you want people to calm you. And that's really hard to do when you don't have a following, because if you don't have a following, other people aren't inclined to trust you. See where the problem lies? Again, people like me, I didn't have any connections. I just literally started drawing, and amazing 14 people who wanted comms came up to me, contacted me, and I built a really steady client base. It's because of Final Fantasy XIV at all that I have a career. And yeah, I'm pretty miffed about this. I feel super bad for Jesse, especially knowing that it's Jesse. And I genuinely hope that maybe for the next one, because I think he always goes to Fanfest, he can get the costume that he wants. Or maybe he can have this done for another convention. There is no more disappointing feeling than having something you're super excited about having taken from you at the last minute. God, I want to cry. I'm so sorry, Jesse. I really hope that this doesn't make Jesse give up on supporting artists in the future. I think that the thing that this is going to do is make him very cautious about who he works with. And he's only gonna start looking at like bigger names in the cosplay community, unfortunately, because it's just safer that way. I heard something about this story. Apparently some people blamed him for not going into a more reputable maker because he didn't want to pay extra to have a preference since these companies have a really long queues. No, I'm sorry. When you're getting a comm, you should not be expecting to get scammed. You should not be expecting to get scammed. The thing you should expect is professionalism and a good fucking quality work and treatment. What? No, that's victim blaming. This artist is garbage. I am sorry. Not only did you not deliver, you emotionally manipulated your client and a pretty fucking big content creator to boot. No, I'm sorry. I refuse to fucking fall into this narrative of like, oh, Jesse's a big creator, so he should have known better. No, fuck you. The amount of a following you have has nothing to do with you deserving good, honest work that you fucking paid for. He deserved that costume, he paid for that costume, he should have gotten that costume. You do not go in getting a commission expecting to get fucking scammed. As it doesn't matter how many followings the artist has either. As soon as money changes hands, you are obligated to see this through. Like, imagine how much this is gonna blow up since Jesse's gonna be live on stage at Fanfest for a segment. Yeah, he was gonna go in. Oh, I feel so bad for him. I really do. And like, look, as someone who's been a fan of Jesse's work for a long time, because I like his videos and I love his takes on 14, I genuinely enjoy hearing him talk about it. I'm really sorry, Jesse. And as someone who is an artist myself, I'm really, really sorry about the state of the community, of commissioning in general, not just for cosplay, mind you, because again, I feel bad for other content creators, other VTubers who have to cancel debuts for similar reasons. I'm really sorry that it's gotten this bad. And to all of my fellow artists out there who are thinking about opening commissions, understand this. As soon as money changes hands, as soon as you get paid for a product, you are no longer doing something for fun or a hobby, it becomes a job. You have become a professional. Conduct yourself as such, please. Because the only thing we are doing with this type of behavior is making it very, very difficult for other artists that want to make an honest living of our work. We are fucking preaching and whining and moaning about how we want people to respect artists. Let's give them something to respect, please. Let's give them the professionalism that people expect from us. And not be, you know, manipulative, spending money we don't have, and not delivering on the work that we're supposed to do. It is so important, especially now in the age of fucking AI, where it feels like, to a lot of people, art is fucking going down the gutter. Don't let it. Seriously, don't let it. Let's become professionals that we were always meant to be, because if you want to make a living out of this shit, you have to be a pro. Also, to clients, because yes, I haven't forgotten about you guys, because I've had a lot of you in the past. To clients, I beseech thee, please do not ignore red flags, okay? If an artist doesn't talk to you for more than a month, because PayPal usually does 2 months refunds, refund, 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 okay? If an artist does not communicate with you, if an artist is dodging questions, if an artist is trying to throw emotional arguments at you, tell them, I understand your situation might be difficult, but I needed you to communicate sooner, I need a refund. And don't even ask them, go straight to fucking PayPal. Try and communicate if you can, but if you don't get a response, do not ignore the red flags. The amount of people in my community that have been working towards getting a comm for 6 months to a year is insane. Guys, don't do it. Never feel bad about upsetting the artist. You're supposed to be dealing with a pro. You are the customer, not them. And do not send money to friends. Ask for an invoice, okay? If you want to call an artist and they tell you, oh, do it, send to friends, immediately a red flag. Be like, nope, this is a professional transaction. I need an invoice. I promise you can get an invoice even if you don't have a PayPal business account. I've done it all the time, okay?
I've been scammed on commissions before, with the same, I had someone pass in my family, after several months of silence, so I can totally understand their frustration. That kind of thing scared me off of getting commissions.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
Nod.
That's the thing. You cannot use emotional arguments like that. For example, if someone on my editing team can't finish something, they always tell me and we find a workaround, because that's just called being professional.
Holy hell, this happening to Jesse is bad.
Yeah, it is.
This became terrible for everyone.
You want to hear the worst part? Hubby didn't tell me that it was Jesse specifically because he wanted me to find out on stream. Because now that I know who it is, I understand the gravity of the situation. That was also his experience. He read through it and I was like, wow, this sucks for this community member. And then he was like, oh, fuck, it's Jesse. Jesse has a follow-up from Twitter. Drop here. Yeah, send it to me. I gotta be honest, I struggle with naming and shaming because I don't want to use my reach to hurt anyone with a 1% chance to really have a parent died. But so many of you say I was scammed with all the, and it will help others, so if it can help, they are perfect plush. Jesse, please don't feel bad. That the parent die thing, even if it wasn't intentional, is an emotional argument. And it's made so you don't speak up or say anything, when in reality, your anger is completely valid and justified. This person did scam you. I don't know what their circumstances are, but they did scam you. And if they have a shred of decency, they would have told you sooner. I don't think that it's unfair for Jesse to use his reach to fucking name this person because they did scam you. And if it keeps anybody else from getting scammed too, I think it's valid. Do not dox anybody. Do not go and be aggressive to them. This is mainly like a fucking PSA, so you guys know if you want to get a fursuit, who to avoid. It's a fucking blacklist, not an actual all-out attack, alright? Don't Persona 5 that bullshit, Jesus. I do believe that if someone scams someone of Jesse's size or does something that bad, they should get called out, or if they scam enough people, they should get called out. The problem is that the internet has no chill, and they wouldn't just blacklist them, they would try to burn their house down, you know, like... Tell you there can't be a happy ending for some company reaching for him and telling him they will do it, because that shit takes so much work and time to do it, it won't be on time. No. if he does get this costume made eventually, it's gonna have to be after FanFest, and that's gonna be really sad. And with that, I think that that's about it for the end of this segment. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe. What do you guys think? Do you think that we need to be a little bit harder on artists like these? And like, do you think that we should be expecting professionalism? I think so, personally. As someone who has been in the industry for almost a decade, that we should be very professional about these things. But I want to know your thoughts in general. And remember, if you guys want to become a suspiciously wealthy furry, go try out Gamer Subs Mama. Absolutely delicious, clean energy. You know the drill. Use code KingMation at checkout for 10% off your order.